Hello, this is Dolly. I haven't made a video in a while, but I thought I would make one tonight. Um, I'm in a bit of a manic mode, and I thought I would make a video about a cool list of things that I felt I haven't covered or I'd like to share with fellow mental health clients or people and or their family and friends. So, without further ado, I'm going to start with my list to keep on track because, as we know, people with bipolar have a major problem keeping on track, staying on schedule, keeping lists, checking them off, all that kind of a thing. So, first of all, I have bipolar 1, rapid cycling, um, and not just rapid cycling, but also sorry. I get mixed episodes, horrible mixed episodes. Um, People with bipolar go through what is known as manic depression. It used to be called manic depression. There's the mania, the revved up, ramped up, amped up version of me, and there's the depressed, can't get out of bed, can't wash, can't do anything version of me, like anybody with bipolar. However, I believe I've come a really, really, really long way with the help of my doctor. He's also my psychiatrist, my counselor, my family, friends, and most importantly has been self-education for my type of bipolar, how it affects me. Some people say don't judge a book by its cover. So if my cover reads or your cover reads bipolar disorder, people are going to judge you right off the bat by that. But what I have to say is don't say I have bipolar. Teach people about who you are first, what's inside your book, and then let them judge the cover. In my journey through this illness, I have been on a million different medications. I can't even go through them all. One of them, lithium was one of them, and it turns out it was toxic to me. I had to have dialysis. My system went toxic, and I went into a major psychosis. It was very scary. I've been on Lamictal, Seroquel, for mood stabilizers. I'm currently on something called Fanapt or Fanapt, Fanapt. And with the help of Fanapt, I believe that I have had the longest run of not majorly high spells and not majorly low spells, because I believe that this medication has helped to keep me level as possible, even though I still do go through the episodes. Along with bipolar disorder, many people have underlying conditions. I myself do. I have attention deficit disorder as well. I have terrible obsessive compulsive disorder. I have post-traumatic stress syndrome. I'm trying to think what else. There's just too many. I have depression and panic disorder, anxiety attacks. I actually was first diagnosed with depression and anxiety and put on a drug called Lexapro. And I was told that at that time, I had a trigger in my life of a major forced move in my family. That I had to move to a different state for a period of time. And that was the trigger for my bipolar. I was in my early 30s at the time. And that really put me over the edge. It changed my diagnosis of depression and anxiety with panic attacks to bipolar. However, this happened over a period of time. I had moved, and after my move to a different state, I didn't sleep for 7 weeks. 7 weeks. Now, if I track this back to my childhood, I remember that there were many, many nights where my parents didn't know about it, of course, but I went on maybe an hour and a half, maybe an hour of sleep because I would stay up and watch on my little black and white radio television, Arsenio Hall back in the day. I'm born in 1979, I'm 41. And that's what I did in high school. And I was on the rowing team and had to get up at 5 in the morning to be at practice by 6 o'clock before school. And I didn't need to take naps. I was very alert. But I really struggled at school. I was intelligent. I could pick up on stuff very well, but I struggled big time on tests. I could write essays like a genius. I always got an A on my essays. But when it came to multiple choice tests or fill in the blanks, I had so many things I could fill in the blanks with that there was never enough room on the paper. And if it was a multiple choice question, I could think of some way that every single answer would be right. Now, I knew that two of those answers were either one was right and one was wrong, and one was wrong and one was right, because I knew how they were written. There was definitely a wrong answer. There was a mostly wrong answer. There was a answer that was really close to the right answer, and then there was the right answer. Well, me and my brain, I'd get stuck on one question and figure out some way where all of these things could be possible. All of them could be a reality for the correct answer. And because of that, I generally got stuck in those last two answers, the one that could possibly be right and the one that was right. And if I went with my gut, I got the good grade. I got the answer right. If I went and allowed myself to OCD about it, to become obsessed with it, to allow my brain to be distracted by the possibility of other answers or another answer being correct, then I flunked. I did bad at that question because I would pick the wrong one. Should always go with your gut. Anyways, my family, though, does not always see all of the ways in which bipolar has played out in my life, but that's because I haven't really talked to them about it. So anyways, the underlying conditions that I deal with, the ADD, attention deficit disorder, adult onset, although I believe I may have had it a little bit as a child, there were signs, the mania, and the obsessive compulsive disorder. So attention deficit disorder, mania, wild and crazy, life is great, everything's wonderful, I can get a million things done, and obsessive compulsive disorder. What I do is believe they do is they play this beautiful dance together that many times results in or is a part of mixed episodes, which means I am both devastatingly depressed and so hyper amped up, excited about this project or this event or that event at the same time that I am just all over the place with my mood. This will happen in a day, within hours, within minutes. You could sit with me and watch my mood change in a snap. Super happy, raring to go, ready to do that project. And then all of a sudden, I'm in the corner crying, trying to hide my tears and my tissues. So they play a nice dance together, and they don't work together very well at all. So if you have those things, I empathize with you greatly. Please feel free to leave comments. Please feel free to ask questions. Please feel free to talk to me. Another issue that I've had with my bipolar that goes along with attention deficit disorder as well is my memory. I have lost huge segments of time in my life. Time with my children. Years have passed and I have few memories of them. And that is a part of the fact that my brain runs very, very, very fast. It's on rapid speed. And it can't quite catch up with itself. And because of that, my memory is lacking, almost as if at times I'm an Alzheimer's patient or suffering from dementia. In fact, I've been tested for these things at a neurological facility, 6-hour-long tests, because it's been so bad. But it's always come out that it was my bipolar, it was my attention deficit disorder playing on themselves, and that was my memory problem. It still remains today. So my kids are really annoyed with me. I have 3 of them because I've taken a lot of pictures, and I have for probably about 7 years ago now, since I've been diagnosed and treated. And I take a lot of pictures, and I tell them this because the pictures bring back the memory for me, or will help me remember that it actually happened. And so I encourage all of you to get your family and friends to understand this, that if you need to take a lot of pictures, it's because you're saving your memories, because your memory itself won't do it for you. You can't force it to. You can't make it happen. You can help yourself by taking some vitamin B12, vitamin B6, getting yourself a vitamin B shot every month like I do. But that memory problem will always remain. And it is something to tackle, to deal with, to learn to make lots of notes in life if you're suffering from bipolar. Part of my bipolar experience has been that I've had to learn how to live again. And by that, I mean almost in many, many ways, learning how to ride a bike again. As many of us know, once you learn how to ride a bike, you always know how to ride a bike. You can hop on a bike and ride one after you haven't ridden it in 10 years. But a lot of my social skills, personal skills, that which makes me who I am, has changed drastically. And I have had to learn who I am again, how I want to live, what legacy I want to leave, what I need to do in order to do those things. And in that practice is complete mindfulness. Being aware of the sights, the smells, the tastes, the textures, the positive things, always focusing on the positive things going on around me, within me, that I can label, I can name, I can say, I can know, because I believe that God has given them to me. I believe that God has blessed me greatly in this life. I even look at my bipolar as a blessing, because within struggle comes strength. And although there has been moments, and there will continue to be moments, I know I have a disease like diabetes, I need my insulin, and there will always be struggles with that. By that I mean my bipolar medication. Um, some people believe that everything in the past we have no control over, which I believe, and that everything in the future we have no control over, which I don't believe anymore, and that all we really have is right now. I truly do believe that too, but I believe that a person with bipolar, if they are proactive about their illness, proactive about self-education, proactive about self-care, that they can prevent future episodes, future depressive episodes, future manic episodes, and they can also predict then when they're coming, as I have learned, and how to deal with them so that they are not so severe as they are limiting to life, limiting to our time here on this earth. One of the major things that has happened in my family is that people have kind of pulled back from me. Like I said, it's not don't judge a book by its cover. It's read the book first and then judge the cover with bipolar, because it's so unique to the individual. I am very different than a lot of people with bipolar. I have a very severe case, but I don't have the rage and the anger that a lot of people do. A lot of people struggle with that severely. It's a severe symptom, side effect, part of it. It's not for me. I also don't deal with suicidal ideations as deeply and as seriously as most, because what I have done in my mind, so much is in the mind. I have placed a wall, a barrier there. I will not allow myself to think of suicide. Do I slip into thinking about it? Yes. The minute that I do, I change my thoughts. I actively, proactively change my thoughts to this is not an option for me. What do I need to do to get rid of these thoughts? Thoughts are super powerful. Can you imagine that in a work week, typical person going to work 9 to 5, they should be wiped out by Friday, right? Oh, at the end of the work week, finally I can rest, I can get some things done, can have some me time. But what happens on Friday? Everyone seems to have a little bit more energy at work, huh? Because in their mind, they're looking forward to that weekend, that time for themselves or their family away from work. And it is the mind, the positive thoughts of the mind of that upcoming weekend that give them the energy. So instead of being worn out from a week of work, Friday comes along, that button hits, hey, weekend's here. I can have a drink tonight. I can go out with friends. I can get some shopping done. I can just rest, whatever I need to do. And boy, oh boy, don't you have a lot of energy on Fridays in order to start off the weekend right. The power of the mind and positive thoughts. There is nothing greater. There is nothing more powerful. So if you find yourself thinking negative thoughts more often than not, think to yourself, I could be really creating some of my depressive thoughts. And I don't need to. I have the choice to think positively, to think the weekend's coming, yay. I can think that, even though if I'm sad, I can think that. And those thoughts create positive energy, and that positive energy creates positive life and a positive inner self. So I don't work a regular job or any job in particular other than keeping up my house and keeping up my health and caring for my children when I have them. I am divorced. Um, and many of us are 90% divorce rate with people with bipolar. But again, I believe that's because many do not self care or have partners willing to help them through difficult times or understand it themselves. Well, my last work experiences were this. I have a degree in special education, so I was substitute teaching at our local school district. Just gotten divorced, so I was also picking up side jobs in the evenings. I worked at the school district during the day, and then teaching, and then I worked at the Goodwill for a couple months and in the evenings, and Salsa Rita's a couple months in the evenings, and then the Dollar Tree for a couple months in the evenings. And all three of those jobs, not the teaching job, but my extra jobs that required more basic thinking, I couldn't do them. I failed. I could teach. I could stand in front of a classroom and present a lesson and use crazy technology and really connect with kids and have teachers that were begging me to come back to be their substitutes, and because I was a full-time substitute. But I couldn't figure out how to sweep a floor one night. I couldn't figure out if I should do the booths or the alleyways or the bar area or the counter area or the kitchen. My mind was so scrambled with, oh my gosh, what should be first? What's the best way to do this, to tackle this project? What's the best way to do what is best first? And my mind became so all encompassed and just deranged with these thoughts that there was no reason to overthink this so much. But again, the mania and especially the OCD with the ADD, they like to dance. And when they get going, you can't figure out how to sweep the floor. So I was asked to go home. Another time, I was working at the taco place and making burritos, and we had a long line of people, and I got very anxious about the long line of customers that we had. And I was the one folding the burritos in the line of workers. And when it came to me to fold my first burrito, knowing that there was all these people coming in, I froze up. My heart started to race. My hands started to get sweaty. I had to back up from the area that I was in. I felt like I was going to vomit. It was a total panic attack. So I was asked to leave there. I had an episode at the Goodwill when I was doing the Goodwill in the evening where I was alone on the floor, and there was just a manager that was working in the back sorting through donations, and there was just the two of us, and that was usually fine.